Sami Abu Saad, Director of Education at T3 Live. Hope you are doing well and welcome back to another video. Before we start, as always, a standard required disclaimer to let you know that trading is risky and that whatever we discuss is for educational purposes only. If you're new to our channel, please be sure to subscribe, be sure to download a copy of my free ebook, and be sure to let us know if you have any questions. info@t3live.com or leave a comment, okay? And of course, be sure to like the video if you find benefit in it. Let's get started. In today's video, I'm gonna go over the market. I'm gonna go over the swing ideas that I have lined up for tomorrow, and we'll see what we can find. The market first is incredibly bullish. I said in last week's video that I wasn't expecting much of a pullback, either a small pullback after this rally or a sideways base. My goodness, we only got one red bar, and then right after we got the red bar, the Qs put in a 2.2 move up. I mean, a huge green bar. I was actually hoping for a sideways week or a small pullback. This way we would get the 1, 2, 3 on the weekly chart of the Qs, like we kind of have on the SPY. It's like a 1, 2, 3 setup, but we didn't, and we rallied really hard. The IWM continues to remain very weak, but it is trying to put in a higher low on the daily chart. This is a pullback to the newly rising 20 almost. So the IWM is tough, but it is trying to put in a higher low. The bias should be going forward all out bullish. Now, if we take out Thursday's low, because that's a pivot. A pivot is when you have a higher low on either side of a candle. A candle in the middle with a higher low on each side. So if we take out 369.50 on the Qs, I don't know what it is on the SPY, but it would be 433.40, then that means we're probably going to come in a little bit, or at least go sideways before we move up. I'm not expecting to take out Thursday's low. I'm expecting maybe a doji bar on tomorrow, on Monday, and then continuation higher after that. Whatever, but I'm not expecting to see the Thursday's low get taken out. If it does get taken out, then that means, you know, we're gonna go sideways or pull back a little bit before, but I wouldn't turn bearish. I would still be bullish before continuing higher. By the way, Bitcoin is looking pretty good. If you're not in already, I really like Bitcoin personally. I'm in a good amount too. All right, here are the swing ideas that I got for you. We have AEO, which is more of a longer term idea. Check out the monthly chart. It's a daily breakout, but monthly looks pretty good, higher to up here to $28 or so on the monthly chart of AEO. Daily is a breakout, so over the base, stop under it, or safer would be to give it room to $17. Since it's a long-term play, I recommend using the wider stop. ALK is trying to transition higher. The ALK and the DAL. The DL already popped a little bit. The ALK hasn't yet, and so that's the one on my list for tomorrow. Over 34.40, stop under 32.50. So it's about a $2 stop. It's $1.90, but let's just call it $2 on the ALK. AYX gapped up and has been basing at resistance, so when it takes out the top of the base, I expect it to get up to the 200 MA, which is about $43. On the AYX, stop would be under 35.60. The BALY gapped up and is trying to transition higher. I like it higher over 1020 by 950. The DDOG also had a pretty big gap up. Basing looks higher over the base. Stop under it. And target, I would say 115, but honestly, the DDOG is putting in a higher low on the monthly chart, and it's probably higher long term, like a lot of other things are. They look higher long term. The ETWO has a base breakout, so over the base, which is over 330, stop under $3. Let's just say it's like 308, I think, or 309. 310 is the bottom of the base, so one can put the stop under it or give it a little bit more room to 303. And then target is about $4 on the ETWO. Geo, it looks higher on the monthly, the daily, the weekly. That's a nice monthly buy setup. Look at the CXW, which is the other prison stock. That monthly buy setup was deeper, was below the 20 on the monthly, and it already worked. So Geo hopefully starts to play catch up, and it's higher to the prior highs. So if we were to go back to the daily, the entry would be over this bar's high, 918, stop would be under 909, or I don't know that there's a tighter stop, honestly, either under $9 or so, this bar's low, $9, or under 833, big stop. GRMN looks amazing on the daily chart. It actually gapped up and had a nice, it looks good on the monthly, looks good on the weekly. That's a 1, 2, 3 setup on the weekly chart. That's what I was hoping the Qs would do, is just go sideways and give us that igniting bar and narrow range bar on the weekly chart. This way, if it takes out both the high of bars 1 and 2, meaning last week and the week before, then it would be a 1, 2, 3 setup, entry over the highs, stop under that doji bar's low. On the Garmin, like it a lot. INFA, also another 1, 2, 3. Now let's take a look at the INFA. It's over, is it INFA or INFA? Yeah, INFA. INFA is another stock. So it'd be over 23.64, stop under 21.92. Let's check on this, the high. That's 23.85, 87, I think. So that's kind of an issue, might be an issue. Instead of 23.64, maybe over 23.87. Stop under 21.92. The JXN is off the daily. It's a 1, 2, 3 on the daily, or an hourly buy setup. So long over the base right here, stop below it on the JXN. MASI is trying to transition higher from being in a downtrend, then a small sideways base, then potential transition. So over this bar's high, which is 87.11, stop under 81.80. So it's a $6 stop, and target about 100, maybe even more on the MASI. I like the path a lot as a long-term play. Over 17, I'm not sure what the number is, but it's over the highs here, stop down here. So if we were to check, so it would be over 1760, it looks like 1760 with a stop under 1629. That's the daily time frame. Here's the weekly, looks really good, and here's the monthly, looks really, really good also. It's in the beginning of that transition A stage on the monthly chart, so that could easily fail, unlike say the Garmin, which already broke out of it. Maybe even the pins already kind of broke out of it, barely, but almost, whereas the path is just still getting started. But if it works, it'll be a huge play because it's just getting started, and target would be about 35 or so, this bar's high, which is 35.60. So that's the path. PAYC had a large gap down. It was on last week's video. I liked it as a breakout. It triggered already, but one can look to add to the position or initiate a new one, with an entry over 171.60, stop under maybe 162, target $200 on the PAYC. Pins is very, very sloppy on the daily, and I like it more off of the weekly or the monthly. The weekly is a 1, 2, 3, so over 31.87. Call it 32, just to make sure we don't get tagged by a couple cents. $32 by 30.30. Target is the 200 MA, about 37 or 38 bucks, I think, on the PINS. PLTR, I was in it on this breakout, and then I don't know what happened. I either got stopped out, or I just killed it. I don't remember exactly, but I really, really like that weekly buy setup over here, and it just wouldn't work because the market dropped really hard. And then this week, the market popped. I wasn't aware of it on Friday until somebody mentioned it in the room. I was like, oh my God, I should already be in it. It should have been re-entered over, I should have entered back into it over 1917. So it's a little late here, but I still like it higher over 1972 with a stop under $18 on the PLTR. I also have the PUBM on a 1, 2, 3, so over 15.25 with a stop under 14.30. Target is about $18 on the PUBM. In the video description, I have a longer list if you want to check it out, but I tried to make this video short and sweet, so I highlighted the ones that I think are most ready to pop tomorrow. Okay, the ones with the setup that I feel is most ready, but there are some pretty good ones on the list in the video description. Here's the shorts, not as good of a list, but I got the AMLX, which had a bearish gap down and now has it didn't exactly double bottom, but sort of popped off the lows. So if it comes back down and breaks under the lows, I think this will be a good one. Under 1190 with a stop over 1320 on the AMLX as a short. The ATNM is a base breakdown on the hourly chart. Looks good. Looks good. Nothing special, but looks good. Does have a breakout failure here, which makes it even more bearish. So under the lows, stop over $5. Dish is a base breakdown, so under the lows, stop above. Similar concept, but came from after. This is a much more bearish daily chart than the ATNM. Gapped under 3 green bars and then took out the base, and there's no support to the left. I mean, you'd have to go back probably years and years before you see any support on the dish. So it's really, really good. Really bearish. RIVN is a 1, 2, 3. It's not very good, but it is a 1, 2, 3 and looks lower to about $12 on the RIVN. So it would be under yesterday's low, Friday's low rather. Stop over Friday's high, 1512 by 1572. SNBR also had a gap down and is basing. The longer it bases, the better it becomes. So if we get another narrow range bar tomorrow, that would be even better. And then the entry would be under the base, stop above it on the SNBR. And the last one is the VTYX, which I know had a large gap down. And normally after a large gap down, I actually look to play long like I'm doing with the PAYC. This is an open position already in the newsletter. But it's setting up short. It's not setting up long. So I like it short under 232. Let's say 230. Stop over, not sure, 283 or 294. Either 283 or 294, whatever you want. But as you can see, the bearish list is shorter and not as good, but it is what it is. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, if you did, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and be sure to hit the like button. If you have any questions, email us, info@t3live.com, or leave a comment. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.